Welcome back to the podcast. We're just these guys. I am Lance.
My name is Brian Parker. I'm CA passer.
Okay, let's try that one more time, but this time into the microphone. Here we go. There you go. So, welcome back to the podcast. I'm Lance.
My name is Brian CA passer.
And I'm Mike.
And we are just these guys, you know.
Yes. What's happening, Ryan?
He's good.
Good to see you again.
It's all good.
Yeah, see you.
Thanks for taking my spot last week and just nailing it.
Yeah.
It'll come out tomorrow evening, 5 o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
The podcast.
Nice.
Ryan drops a little wisdom on us.
Oh, yeah.
And he has decided that he's going to start doing his own podcast on Tuesday mornings from here on out.
Hey, you know what? I always wondered if somebody would end up taking this and spinning off and just taking it to another level.
He's going to dump the dead weight.
Yep. Somebody finally did it.
Yeah.
So, Mike, how you been?
I have been very good.
Very good.
As I always say, better than I deserve.
Better than you deserve.
And that is a fact, Jack. That's the fact, Jack. What movie was that from?
That would be Bill Murray.
Yep.
Stripes.
Stripes.
That's the fact, Jack.
Yep. One of the best movies out there. One of my favorites.
And then depression set in.
Yes. How have you been?
I have been good. I've been busy.
Yeah. Guys are
I
having.
got my camera.
You got your camera? You want to record yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Well, we will grab you something. Let's do this. We'll flip it around. We've worked out our technical issues.
Easy peasy.
It works.
Got to get some good shots of the Ryan man.
Now this may be helpful because he can see himself, so he may become a chatterbox.
Oh, there we go. Rocking and rolling.
Last week, not so much.
Yeah.
Last week there was a little stage fright going on.
Well, it happens. It happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
It almost happened to me Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Get out.
It might not have come across once I settled myself, but I was really kind of struggling in the biggest struggle that I have nowadays, because I've figured out I can talk too much, is really fine tuning it and getting it down to at least one or two, points that people might remember, and hopefully. And so it used to be 3, 4, 5. And so that's my biggest thing, is I'm trying to, and then if I don't feel like I've gotten it down to something really easy to digest and remember and take with you, I'm a little anxious about that. But I think it turned out all right.
No, what do you think the problem was Sunday that you're standing here confessing to that?
It was just that I went into it still with a lack of complete clarity of exactly what I wanted them to take away. It was just that, we are all here to deal with our crap. And hopefully that's what they took away. Hopefully I got there, but it took me a minute to get there. And I get these life given. I'm not going to say God gave me that one.
Well, in a backwards way.
Yes, exactly.
Dog is God backwards.
That's right. So I guess if anybody wants to go check it out, you can go to gpwichita.com and you can click on Watch Now. You can scroll down and click on the message and it's the whole Sunday morning experience, but you can check out the message. But is it okay if I talk about this for a minute? I had taken our dog Ivy for a walk, and for the first time ever, she actually ended up dropping a load right there on the walk. She's never done that. She does that with Dawn all the time. She's apparently very comfortable with Dawn. But I just figured I had her trained well enough not to ever do that.
She's just on alert.
Yes, because the cultural expectation is that you pick it up.
Right.
And I've just not really ever thought that was necessary. This is fertilizer.
Yeah, that's my thought about it.
Yep, but she ended up doing this, and there happened to be a bag on the leash because Dawn is
prepared.
the one. Yeah, she's always prepared. She puts a leash or a bag on the leash, and so I ended up picking it up. But then I went ahead and took a picture of it because I thought,
Yeah, I know.
I really do think this could. I could figure out how to make this connect. And my biggest thing that I've started being challenged with is making our time memorable, making our meetings memorable. If you walk away and you don't remember anything, I feel like I've just wasted everybody's time.
Sure.
And I want them to remember Scripture. I want them to remember their connection with God. But sometimes you got to go about it in a way that is very practical and life connecting, in order to help that happen.
So the next time they're out and their dog craps in the middle of the yard.
I'm thinking about church. And so anyway, so the connection that I ended up attempting to make, and I think I did an okay job on it, is that the reality of church is that all we are is a community of people who are there to deal with our crap.
Yeah.
And we come together because we're there to help to pick each other up. And to pick each other's crap up.
Yeah.
And that's what a real community looks like. People who are I kind of got around to the idea that we value each other so much that we serve each other. And if we really, truly value others, we want to serve them. And so, yeah, I thought it turned out all right, but I struggled to get there. And so, yeah, I had a little bit of stage fright walking into it. And by the way, a lot of times it's because I've settled on 2 or 3 ways to start, and I'm not exactly sure how this is going to start, even when the intro video is playing.
Well, it was interesting.
Thing.
Part of the reason for my vague questions.
By the way, that's
That good?
Oh yeah, it's slightly different, just a little different.
It's
Sorry to interrupt you.
Just a cappuccino with whipped cream.
I love it.
There.
You figured it out. The formula has finally been fine-tuned.
Cappuccino with whipped cream.
Yeah, easy.
Well, when you started that dialogue a minute ago, you opened up with, it sounded like you said something like, I finally figured it out, or before I wouldn't have, and I was wondering what the before-after part was. Where does that change come in being, because you talked about feeling more confident in speaking and feeling...
The before and after is in preparing, feeling like I was even going to be able to fill 30 minutes. Now, it's like, how do I not say too much?
Right.
How do I actually leave a good, solid point for them to take and launch from?
And just for the listening audience, can we credit some of that shift to the 4 fundamentals?
Absolutely. 100%. And this experience, really.
Right.
Being confident.
When you first walked in here, it was a little jarring because you were so subdued and quiet and you kept pitching to me.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. So, Lance, and then you would stare and I'm like, yeah, carry the tune, do the guitar solo now.
You're the QB dude. Yeah. Lead singer.
But yeah, the transition you have made is noticeable to me. I've had people comment on they've seen a change in you and they've asked me about it. And now it sounds like you're saying that a year ago, figuring out how to fill a 30-minute or 20-minute sermon was a challenge. And now you're finding that your challenge is to keep it to 30 minutes.
Yeah, I could fill it with fluff. I could fill it with stuff that I didn't need to fill it with. It was crap
Before.
before,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And now it's different. It's a different approach that is. I have no concern with filling a 30-minute time where I can stand up there and I can be a pontificator with no problem. But yeah, it's a much better scene for me throughout the week where I'm having to kind of prune and get to the, pruning is a really good thing for a plant.
This is what I was talking about with the radio broadcast that we're going to be doing upcoming. When we first got invited to appear on the radio, that initial thought was, what about them? What are they trying to get us to say? What is their message that they're trying to pull us into? The concern was them. And so maybe in years past, as you're preparing sermons, you're thinking about how are they going to receive it? What, you're thinking externally, how do I make this entertaining? How do I fill this time so that they, as opposed to now when you walk out on stage, you're being driven by something from inside you. What do I want them to know? How do I get this across to them? How can I explain this in a way that might be entertaining? And so you are shining through on stage now. Because a couple months ago, 6 weeks ago, you declared, and I'm reminding you of this, that one day
Yep.
you want to do a stand-up comedy routine.
Yep.
And you just did one. The first 10 minutes of the sermon, you were killing the audience. Everybody was laughing. People had tears in their eyes. They were laughing so hard. You did the stand-up comedy routine. Now, it wasn't at a bar at night, but you just did it. You were hilarious. You had the audience eating out of your hand with your story about your dog. You left the photo of the crap on the screen a little too long. For my comfort.
Yeah. Well, you want to let it sink in.
Staring at a bag of poop here.
Yeah. Well, so there's a couple of things that pop into my head when you're saying that. I believe that laughter is a gift. And laughter, by the way, will absolutely bring down walls. If you came in there and you were uptight at all, hopefully, in a room full of people laughing, it makes it a more comfortable. I think that's why people love comedians. That's why people we love to laugh. And how many times can we say throughout the week that we really have experiences where in a room full of people we're all laughing? Mm-hmm. And so laughter is a gift, and as often as I can, I try to use that as a way to bring down walls, as a way to plus it engages people.
Sure.
That's the bottom line. But then to be able to connect that, the emotion of laughter, and then the reality that this is about as serious as it gets, is, that's, to me, that's the full experience. So, yeah, I'm definitely getting more confident. I think that's probably the biggest thing. And it's only taken 17 years. But hey, whatever, whenever. Right, Ryan?
Yeah.
So I thought it was a great message.
Thank you.
Dealing with crap.
Right. Yeah.
Because that was kind of part of my takeaway, was that we all have crap. We try to pretend not to have it.
Yes, we do.
And when other people come around, we try to pretend it's not our crap.
yeah, that's
we
good.
try to cover up our crap.
and everybody can smell it coming off of
Everybody knows. And that's the whole kind of, I made that comment earlier today, the whole Facebook, what is it, Facebook fraud or faux Facebook, but where we take that 1 second where we smile for the camera,
Yeah.
post it on the internet, and pretend that is our life.
Well, we're all living our highlight reel.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, you know, we don't show the whole game.
Yeah.
It's just the highlights.
Just the highlight reel.
Just the smiles and the good times. Yeah.
Now, the sad thing is, and I think we're all guilty of it to some degree or another, it's hard to keep that in the back of your mind when you're looking at these images that other people are putting out there.
Right.
But it is 1 second. It is a snapshot in time. And, you know, what came before, what came after is not reflected in the photo.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing how, for most families, family photos are pretty much a nightmare. And they're tense. You have kids, especially, who are, you're doing everything you can just to get them to look towards the camera. But you get that one quick little second that ends up working out well, and that's what you show.
Well, see that photo of Ryan there on the stairs?
Yep.
Doesn't he look like an angel?
Yeah. Yes, he does.
I had a photographer come over when I think he was 4 or 5 at the time. I had a photographer come over to get some photos of him. And he was running and jumping and squirming and wiggling and just could not. I was getting so frustrated, just could not get him to stop for 2 seconds to pose for the camera.
Yeah.
And when the guy gave me back the proof sheet for me to choose the photos I wanted, that one was in the proof sheet.
Mm.
And I didn't remember that event occurring. And when I went back and talked to him about it, I said, where did this shot come from? How did you get that? And this was one of those moments I was literally chasing him.
Yeah.
To try to get him to stand still for 1 second. And he had run up the stairs. Oh, wait, we're both sweating like pigs. He had run up the stairs and he turned around and was getting ready to jump into my arms because he loved jumping off the stairs onto me. And that's when he caught the photo.
Nice.
So that photo does not reflect what was actually happening in the moment.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And it's an amazing shot. That's cool. Yeah, we've had so many family photos taken where one in particular that jumps out at me is Skylar just would not, same thing, stop running around. He wanted nothing to do with pictures. Okay, he's a boy, they're little boys. And the one time we got a decent shot of Savannah and Skylar was when Skylar was behind her. He had a ball in his hand, and the photographer said, "Hit your sister with it." And his face just lit up, and he got the shot. Just the idea. And so he's standing behind her with this ball, and he's just smiling from ear to ear.
Now, what was Savannah's look?
Well, she was just sitting there still smiling, thinking, just get the shot. It was a Nerf ball.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so, yeah. Because she was sitting there, because she was always good.
Yeah.
It's such a difference. Always good. And so, yeah. So true. We show our highlight reels for a fact. And, yeah. So it's one of those things. That's life. We all have our crap, and we don't necessarily. I'm just what that really has me challenged in doing is not. So we all have our crap. We all want to help each other. We all want to come in and we want to help, pick each other's crap up. But we all want to hide it, like you said. That's the biggest challenge. Is that everybody gets, just real with what's going on in our lives. And I think ultimately that's what leads us to this whole idea of confession. It's like the sin is in our crap, because oftentimes we're the ones who create the crap by the sin that just entraps us. But we don't want to admit it. We certainly don't want to appear to be weak. We don't want to appear to be still struggling with things that you would assume we've overcome long ago. And so, I think this is the whole idea, is that if we're really going to build an authentic community, those are the things that we're going to be willing to come together. And not just on Sunday morning, but getting together in community throughout the week in different ways and just deal with our stuff.
The power of the power of crap is in our shame of it.
That's right.
And withholding it, hiding it. That's where the power comes in. If I said to you, I'm an alcoholic, now I have no more power over me.
There you go.
But if I'm, struggling with the idea, if I'm hiding it from everybody, if I'm pretending I don't have a problem with it, then that starts to consume me, consume my life. And now I create this facade. And now I'm looking at everybody else going, but they don't know the real me. If they only knew this, I can't let them know that. And it's when the secret. So like in your example, when the dog crapped on the walking trail and you're getting ready to walk away and that lady turned the corner.
Yeah.
There was that moment of kind of panic, like, oh no, maybe I cover it up. Maybe I pretend it wasn't, maybe I step in it and say, oh my God, look what somebody else did. All of that angst came about when you're trying not to own it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But the moment you just let your shoulders drop and say, ugh, okay, this is my crap, I'll pick it up.
Yeah.
Not only did it become a manageable situation, but it became a life lesson for 300 or 400 people in the audience.
Sure.
However many end up seeing it on the internet.
Yeah.
Owning your crap, you became powerful.
Yeah. And the reality is, in that whole scenario or that whole example, her crap was my crap.
Right.
Yeah. And so that's why I had to deal with it. Now imagine that. Imagine if we actually looked at other people with such value that even their crap is your crap. So let's deal with it. And imagine how much shame would be, just destroyed if we looked at it that way.
And that's what we can do for other people is if we become aware of their crap. We're going to name this episode Crap.
Crapola.
Step in the crap. Pick up other people's crap.
This crap,
Just this crap, Ryan doesn't think that's funny.
No.
But
he's smiling.
But no, once you become aware of somebody else's crap, if you step in to help them out, if you don't push them away, ostracize them, turn your nose up at them,
yep,
begin judging them, if you become aware of their crap and you step in to help them like you stepped in to help your dog,
right,
then the analogy doesn't work real well. But if I'm walking around with this secret shame and somehow you become aware of it and you lean into me, that helps me not keep it secret anymore. That helps me, in my mind, my Facebook judgment of myself is I'm a bad person, and that's why I don't want you to see it. So when you lean in and put your hand on my shoulder and say, hey, we'll get through this, suddenly I'm challenged with the belief that you hold that I'm not a bad person.
Right.
So who's right, me or you?
Mm-hmm.
And so it helps me start to deal with my own crap when you're accepting of me, even though I have crap on my shoe.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
we're going to carry this one all the way.
It certainly is, because in that situation, again, it came out and it had to be dealt with. And I was there serving her. I was walking her already. And so what was I going to do? Abandon her? Or was I just going to ignore it?
That'll preach.
Yeah. And so
you got a friend, you're serving the friend, and suddenly you find out they got some crap.
Yeah.
Do you walk away?
Exactly.
Do you ignore it? You dump them?
No, you deal with it. And you deal with it on the level that I was trying to communicate, not just to help them because they're hurting, not just to fix them because they're broken, but to serve them because they're valuable.
Sure.
Not in spite of, but really because of their crap. We all need to be reminded that we're valuable, and so valuable in God's eyes that he was willing to die for us.
And for those of you who joined us in the latter part of the podcast, this is part of the reason why we started doing this podcast. Is we're not a psychologist, we're not a pastor, we're a couple of guys. We are just like you.
Yep.
We deal with the same things you deal with day in and day out. And if you scroll back to episodes, I think it's 4 and 5, where we share a bit of our testimony, our walk, how we kind of came to where we're at now, you will hear that it is full of bad decisions.
Oh, yeah.
Just a bunch of crap. We dealt with a whole bunch of crap to get to where we're at. And the only difference between now and then is we're willing to own that crap.
Yeah. Yep. Willing to own it. Still full of it.
Yeah. Every day.
Yep.
Make crappy decisions.
Yep. But man, what a difference when you know where you can find some relief. It's that irritable believer syndrome that we got to get over. When we try to hide the shame, what causes the irritability is the shame. It's
Sure.
the anxiety of trying to hide it and trying to, keep it in the dark. Make everybody feel like my highlight reel is my actual life. And so, that's the difference.
And that's the violation of fundamental number 1 is I'm trying to impress other people, make them think certain things about me. Reality is 1, I can't. And 2, the reality is what they think don't matter.
Exactly. And they're thinking way less about you than
Oh.
you think they're thinking about you. That's a big one right there. Yeah. Because we're living in the middle of our lives. They're not.
Right.
And so, yeah.
Well, how many times have you done something or said something that you think might have offended somebody else or gave them the wrong message or something, and then you spent the better part of a day or 2 days or a week worried what they're thinking or worried how they took what you said, and you go back to them with no sleep and angst, and you're apologizing or trying to explain, and they look at you and go, "What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Don't you remember when I said this?" Maybe they haven't been thinking about it for 3 or 4 days. You have, I have, but they haven't thought about it.
Yep. And had full-blown conversation about it in your head.
Yeah.
Putting words into their mouths, thoughts into their heads, and then coming to whatever resolution you think you've come to, and none of it is reality.
No.
Yeah. So that's part of our crap too.
Yeah.
There's all this crap in our heads. If you don't like the word crap this week, sorry.
We're inoculating you.
Yeah.
Crap.
Oh man. Yeah. But yeah, it's so true. Yeah, I'm finding, it seems like there's momentum in even the opportunities to tell people about the podcast. It seems I'm telling 3 or 4 people a day how to find the podcast because of a particular conversation.
Sure.
And it's usually conversations that come from, well, I'm dealing with this crap. And I'll say, well, for that to really change, it actually, none of your behavior will change until your thinking changes. And so you got to check out this podcast that I'm doing with a buddy. And so it's just more and more awareness, opportunities to continue to point people towards. This is just a great way to start realistically and in a healthy way dealing with life on life's terms.
Sure.
which is going to have some crap in it for sure. So
I feel we've run the gamut on the crap.
yep, we're all done with that.
Real quick before we wrap up, how's the gluten-free living going?
Good. I keep preaching that too. And I'm just telling you right now, every now and then I'll have a moment of weakness and I'll grab like a breakfast bar or something and what was the example yesterday? I ate something yesterday. Oh, I was sitting with a family. We were going over funeral plans and they had baked peanut butter cookies. Okay. So coffee, regular coffee. It's okay. Regular, regular coffee.
Real coffee.
Yep. Folgers Instant, which was good because the peanut butter cookie was just ridiculous. But even still sitting at the table, so 10, 15 minutes after eating this cookie, I felt like crap.
Oh, man.
There we go again. And I was sitting there going, okay. I've gotten rid, because when you get rid of gluten, you get rid of some other stuff that goes with it. It's the sugar overload. And so I'm telling you right now, if you want to feel better physically, which will help you feel better mentally, it's all connected. Check it out. Try it out. Just try to walk away from even some gluten.
Give it 7 days. Just 7 days of your life. Give it 7 days and experiment and see. Eat vegetables, eat fruits, eat red meat, eat chicken, eat whatever you want that doesn't have the flour
Yep.
in it, the gluten containing elements. Try to avoid some of the fast food. I have a protein shake. I'm thinking, protein shake is safe. And I Googled it. And this particular protein shake I have does have some gluten containing products in it. We have another one that does not have gluten in it. And so I just shifted the protein shake to the one that doesn't have gluten.
Yeah.
Give it 7 days just to see. And somebody, a lady asked me the other day, I hear your podcast and I hear you and Mike and Jeremy, and I hear about all these guys that have gone gluten-free and are swearing by it. Have you had any women speak to you about the going gluten-free? And at the moment that they asked the question, I thought back through my head and I thought, no, not really. Not been a woman to say, hey, I've gone gluten-free and my life has changed. There have been other changes that I've, but what was so, kind of a God moment was I got that question and it probably wasn't 3 hours till I was talking to a lady, and in the middle of the conversation, she said, oh, and by the way, thanks for that tip about gluten. Now, this is a woman in her late 50s or early 60s, and she's got a number of medical issues, and with a back issue and a neck issue, and just a number of these issues.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, I've gone gluten-free, and it has really, really it's been incredible. My pain is almost all gone. And she said, in fact, a couple of years ago, I had damaged my ankle and they had told me that I'm going to need surgery on it. And I was like, well, I'm going to wait because I'm not, real whoopee on surgery. And she said over the last couple of years, the pain has just steadily increased. And she said, this past few months, I've been rethinking the decision about getting surgery. And she said, when I went gluten-free, even my ankles stopped hurting.
Wow.
Now, it doesn't cure anything. Please don't get us wrong. We're not trying to sell you a magic elixir. But many of us are not aware that we have a sensitivity to gluten, and that when we eat it, our body responds with inflammation.
Right.
And that inflammation, just imagine having a sore elbow and then somebody squeezes the elbow. Or your knuckles are sore and somebody squeezes your hand too tightly. Because your knuckles are already sore with the rheumatoid arthritis or the old damage from football in the elbow, the inflammation squeezes those joints and inflames the pain.
Yep.
And so when you go gluten-free, you dropped like 15 pounds almost instantly.
Yeah.
That was all fluid.
Right.
That was inflammation that was putting pressure on your spine, putting pressure on your joints.
Yep.
And this lady said that, and she said she was so excited about it. She turned around and told her nephew.
Yeah.
And he's doing it too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm telling you. And you hit the nail on the head right there when you said that a lot of people don't even know that they have a gluten sensitivity because they haven't been diagnosed, or, it's not bad enough. It's just aches and pains and general just sluggishness.
I'm getting old.
Yeah. And so you just kind of accept it as the norm.
I'm to the point where I make two noises.
Yeah, that's right.
One when I sit down, and the one after I sit down. Ah.
Yeah. And then more when you get up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's just one of those things, try it out. Like you say, 7 days.
7 days.
7 days. We are here to help you change your life.
And any of these tips or tricks that we talk about in here about changing how you think, obviously there's a book, 12-2, How to Transform Your Mind, that spells these out in detail. You can go back through the podcast, episode 10 through 19, step-by-step process, walking you through the book. But any of these tips or tricks that we talk about, even if it's just the breathing exercise, breathing in your belly, holding it, and then releasing it.
Yep.
Doing it one time is of no benefit.
Right. Yeah. That's a fact.
Brush your teeth one time in the next 10 years.
And please don't.
And see how far you get with, your friendships.
Right.
But it's that consistent daily application that throughout the day, practice one of these skills for 7 straight days.
Yep.
And judge it after 7 days. Practice the breathing when you lay down to go to sleep, practice the breathing when you're just sitting at your desk, practice the breathing while you're driving, and in 7 days, see how you feel and see if it's worth continuing.
Right.
And the same way with a lot of the skill sets that we've talked about in here, assertiveness, fundamental number 1, 2, 3, and 4, changing how you think, practice them for 7 straight days and see how you feel at the end of the 7 days.
Yep.
Go literally gluten-free for 7 days. See how you feel at the end of 7 days. If you don't feel any different, then you're not gluten sensitive and go back to eating whatever you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think a lot of people are going to be surprised if they actually give it that 7-day shot.
Yeah. I mean, if you just feel like you're on top of the world and you have no aches and pains and you have no reason to do it, don't do it.
Don't do it.
But if you're like us, walking around making weird noises because you're all achy and sluggish, give it a go. What do you think, Ryan?
Any final thoughts?
Yeah.
Give us some wisdom.
I think.
You can think about it. No rush.
And I went at McDonald's again,
Indiana Jones.
and then Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, when on Sunday, speaking of Sunday, you remember going to church Sunday?
Yeah.
You remember Pastor Mike talking?
Yeah, laughing.
And do you remember he had the picture of the dog on the screen?
Yeah. Andy and Tucker and me in a long time.
And what did you think about Pastor Mike's sermon when he started talking about crap? Was that funny?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, new Special Olympics and Shockers
Shockers?
playing.
You want to play for the Shockers?
Yeah.
I'm sure they could use you.
Yeah, you changed it to the Cat. Changed it.
No longer be the Super Cats, you'd be the Shockers, huh?
Yeah.
His Special Olympics basketball team.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
Okay. Well, you ready to wrap up? Thank you guys for tuning in today. Mike, you're going to have to lean in a little bit, I guess. There we go. There he is. And Ryan, come up here with this microphone. Speak into there. I am Lance.
My name's Ryan C.A. Pastor.
And I'm Mike.
And we are just these guys we will catch you next week, same time, same channel. Thanks for tuning in today.
Have an awesome week.
Next Tuesday.